Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237 with another recent horror film slash random Netflix review. And first, I just want to give an extension of my previous review, which was on the god-awful piece of shit, The Bye Bye Man, which is probably my biggest rant ever so far. I was struggling trying to think of recent PG-13 horror movies that were actually good, so I could say there is a way to do that. And I don't know how I forgot, but Insidious, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Both PG-13, both pretty damn good movies. Also, I'm not a fan of supernatural horror movies, especially recent ones. Or almost entirely recent ones, like the last 20 years. But, so Insidious, supernatural, ghost, PG-13, really good movie. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, really good movie. I thought, but also a lot of nostalgia to that one. So just a little extension to that. But if you like my rants, go watch The Bye Bye Man. My rant on that, because that was over a half hour of just straight ranting on that piece of shit. But this is not going to be a rant. This is actually a film that I enjoy. I had seen it before. It's from 2012. It is on Netflix. I said that. And it is Would You Rather. Now, I first saw this from Redbox back in 2013. That was a period in my life where my drinking had really become a problem at that point. And that whole summer, I was just going to Redbox, just getting horror movies, and then going home and drinking, just getting my mind off shit. And there was a lot of really bad ones. A lot of them I don't remember. But this is one I did remember, and I do remember liking. It's, I guess you could consider this part of like the torture porn genre, because it is a torture film. Nowhere near as graphic as Saw or Hostel. It's, it's actually quite tame, but far more realistic. And basically you have this room full of people who are all in debt in some way or another, or they need money for something. And so they go to this really rich guy played by Jeffrey Combs, who I was a big fan of Reanimator at that time, but I hadn't seen it in a while, and I wasn't really focusing on stuff like that. It just went over my head that it was Jeffrey Combs. So watching it this time, I was like, Jeffrey Combs, fucking Herbert West. My second favorite horror series protagonist, next to Ash. Herbert West, awesome. And he's given a great Jeffrey Combs type performance. Like, just the way Jeffrey Combs is, he's great in this. He's the main villain. This rich guy, he has them all sit at this table, and they're given this choice. Would you rather do this or do this? And it starts off kind of small, and it just keeps building up. And, eventually the players will start dropping, or they'll be killed for not making a choice. And the winner gets all the money they need. No questions asked. But they have to keep it a secret. And so it's been 7 years since I've seen this movie and totally forgot about it. It also stars Brittany Snow, which I do know that name. Maybe I don't. She was in some soap operas. Manchurian Candidate. Prom Night Remake. Yep. Okay. And Sasha Grey. Okay, that was like the pornographic film actress. Okay. Probably why I haven't seen her. John Hurd is in this. He's like the first guy to go. But you also get people like, I've never seen Trailer Park Boys. I don't really care to. But I think it's the guy named Ricky, the one with like the Elvis kind of hair. He's in this. Robin Lord Taylor, Penguin from Gotham, he's in this. Of course, he's a psycho in this as well. He has blonde hair, though, instead of black. He's Jeffrey Combs' son. So I thought that was really cool. You know, you have Herbert West and then Gotham's Penguin as father and son. I thought that was really cool. And then the black guy from My Name is Earl. So you have like these people that I've only seen in comedies in this very serious kind of film. And I don't think this film, I mean, I know it got decent reviews. I mean, it has a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes. Even the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes says, restrained by most torture porn standards, Would You Rather's brilliant premise is ultimately harmed by its tendency towards blood and guts. Yeah, because it's not a very bloody movie at all. I mean, I think what helped this film was most of the torture, although it seems rather small and tame, it kind of helps root it into reality. And I mean, it doesn't really go into why everyone is there. I mean, it hints that the guy from Trailer Park Boys, he's in over his head from gambling. John Hurd is in a lot of debt for whatever reason. But our lead actress, Brittany Snow, her brother needs a bone marrow transplant. And so that's why she's doing it. And like, it starts off small before the game really begins. You know, he's says, you know, because she says she's a vegetarian, so she can't eat this steak. He's like, I'll give you, I don't remember what he says, like a 4-digit number, thousands of dollars to eat steak. And she does. He somehow knows everything about these people, so he talks about John Hurd being a recovering alcoholic. He says, I'll give you $10,000 if you drink that little glass of wine. Of course, he says, no, it's not the point. Or, you know, it's not the same as, like, being a vegetarian or how hard it's been for me to quit drinking. And so then he gives him what's it called? A decanter, is that what it's called? Like the big fancy glass that people put really rich bourbon and whiskey in, you know, from one bottle into that one. It says he'll give him $50,000 if he drinks that whole thing of fine bourbon. Of course he does. And so it starts off with like moral decisions like that. And it still starts off kind of moral, which basically he gives everyone 15 seconds to either stab the person next to them in the thigh with an ice pick, or give this other guy who's been given penguin shit 3 lashings with this certain kind of whip, or a cane rather, some sort of cane. And so of course, and it starts with Brittany Snow. She gives the guy 3 lashings. And as the room goes on, it's always the person next to you gets the ice pick, but that same guy still gets 3 more lashings. And everyone just keeps giving the guy the lashings until it gets to Trailer Park Boys. He stabs the old lady next to him, but only because she's paralyzed. She's in a wheelchair, and she doesn't feel it. But he hits an artery. He hits the femoral artery. She bleeds out. There's this one goth chick there who just acts like, survival of the fittest. We all got to do our thing. Because the old lady stabs her before Jeffrey Combs even finishes what he's going to say. And you can tell Jeffrey Combs is really into this. It's like sport to him. Like, when the old lady just stabs her before he even winds the clock, really. He's just like, oh, magnificent. Jeffrey Combs was a blast to watch. He always is. And, it's sort of over the top, but not really. But, definitely a Jeffrey Combs performance. It's all about choices. You're all here for choices. He was great to watch. And, of course, I originally saw this before Gotham even started. So I didn't even realize who Robin Lord Taylor was. But seeing him in this, again, as a psycho, especially when he gets hurt and he starts yelling, it's like, it's Penguin. Eventually, the old lady bleeds out. The guy who kept getting caned over and over again. Well, actually, no, that wasn't even the first round. The first round was everyone got these things put on their head. And they could either shock themselves or the person next to them. And everyone but Brittany Snow shocked the person next to him. She's the only one that shocked herself. So then it was the ice pick or the cane. And there was this one character who was pretty useless. I mean, I want to get the guy, because he looked familiar. I think he was, where the hell have I seen him? I know it's taking me a while, but I want to get the guy. Okay. But there was this one character who... Okay, yeah, that was him. We first see him driving towards the mansion with, like, burn marks on his head. So, what I gathered was he's played this game before and won. But then we see, from what I've been reading here on Wikipedia, is his name is Dr. something. And, like, he's had second thoughts about this whole thing, and he tries to save Brittany Snow. But this one guy, Lucas, causes a distraction. Everyone starts running around trying to escape. Some of them get shot, like the black guy from My Name is Earl, because he wants to go cane friggin' Jeffrey Combs. Brittany Snow ends up in this one hallway where Penguin attacks her and even tries to rape her. But, he gets subdued. And then the guy that was going to save her, that drove there to save her, he gets shot before he can do anything. So it was kind of a useless character. Sort of a wasted character. I meant to even see what this guy was in. That's why I wanted to look him up. Lawrence Gilliard Jr. I guess he's known Bob Stuckey in The Walking Dead. Waterboy. Okay, he was one of Adam Sandler's friends. Why I remember, of all things, why do I remember that from when I was a kid? Gangs in New York, I remember him in that. I remember him in The Machinist with Christian Bale. Okay. So, by the time they get back to the table, it's pretty much Brittany Snow, this guy Lucas, Trailer Park Boys, the Goth Girl. And this next round is they bring in this barrel. You know, this big wooden barrel. And they're all randomly given an envelope. So even Jeffrey Combs doesn't know what each person has. They have to choose between being held underwater in the barrel for 2 minutes or choosing the envelope, which they don't know what it is. You know, the known versus the unknown. Trailer Park Boys goes on some almost like a Wallace Shaw bit from like Princess Bride. Like, well, then you would know that anyone would do the whole thing with the goblets or whatever. He's like, so you would anticipate me to choose this. He opens it and it's a firecracker, which first Jeffrey Combs is like, you know, some of these are pretty harsh, some of these are not really that harmless. So he has to hold a firecracker in his hand, which he's like, all right, fine. But they give him like an M80, like a quarter stick. And it like blows his hand to shit. Probably the bloodiest part of the movie. Which really, the guy getting caned, you see blood through his shirt. The old lady getting the ice pick in the leg, you see that. That's really the only blood, really. So he's pretty much out. And then the guy Lucas opens up his envelope and he gets a symbol of an eye. He has to slice open his eyeball. Which, like, the thumbnail on Netflix, and I think even, like, the DVD cover shows an eyeball with a razor blade. But that's off-screen. Like, I don't know if this is PG-13 or, like, not rated. Distributed by IFC Films, so it's probably not even rated. But, you know, he does go through with it, but it's off screen. Brittany Snow does the 2 minutes and makes it, which impresses Jeffrey Combs because he was like, this was designed to drown people. Good job. But he lets her look in her envelope and it's a tooth, so all her teeth would have had to be extracted. Goth Girl opens her envelope and it's the barrel with a 4. So now she has to hold it for 4 minutes. Of course she doesn't get it. And I know I pretty much spoiled this whole movie, but from what I've seen, a lot of people did see this. Like a lot of horror movie pages on Facebook, I ended up being on Netflix. But there was another movie I redboxed back in like 2013-ish. I thought it was this. It was another one of those things where people have to choose certain forms of torture, and it's like a game. There's all these red and green lights. So when people have tortured themselves enough and done their part, their light will go green so that they're all set. And the only thing I remember was like they had to like hold their arms in this pot of boiling water for so long. If any of you remember what that is, I want to say it's called Vile? Like Vile? There's Antiviral, which is also on Hulu, which is about the people getting celebrity DNA injected into them. Would you rather? I want to say it's called Tormented is the one with the family with the animal masks. I want to say it was Vile. V-I-L-E, not like a vial of something. I want to say that's what it was. Like, red lights turn green when they've tortured themselves enough, and these doors will unlock so they can advance to the next stage. I thought that was this movie, but this one's a bit more low-key than that. So yeah, feel free to let me know. I think that's what it is, though. So then the final stage, it's Brittany Snow and Lucas, and it's her turn, and she's given this like revolutionary style dueling pistol to either spare Lucas and walk out empty-handed or shoot him and win. She does. She does win. Jeffrey Combs does stay true. And it does have a downbeat ending because I must have missed it, but I guess in the beginning it looks like they can't find a donor, they can't afford the operation for her brother, and so she has this duffel bag full of money that will not only take care of the operation in time because they did find a donor. It will also be enough money for her to go back to school, pay off the parents' debts. But when she gets home, the brother has committed suicide with his own prescription meds. So it's got a downbeat ending. But, you know, I kind of appreciate this film for, you know, not going over the top and trying to do like another Saw film. Or trying to do, I mean, this came out before Rob Zombie's 31, but trying to do like a Rob Zombie type thing where it's just, you know, like, you must chainsaw through his genitals, or, you know, just really over-the-top, nonsensical shit. I mean, there's a way to do torture movies like that, and then I like how this one was pretty much, it was very subdued, very low-key. All things that could be done, like, around this dinner table. Really fun performance by Jeffrey Combs. It was cool to see Robin Lord Taylor, Penguin from Gotham. You know, these other people known for comedy, like Trailer Park Boys or My Name is Earl. I mean, some of the methods of torture, like, okay, even though we didn't get to see the teeth, because that didn't get shown, which that's even a joke, he looks at the butler and he's like, ugh, I'm sorry, maybe next year. And the butler's like, ugh. You know, obviously there's got to be something to do with eyeballs. There's always certain things that is commonly queasy. But, you know, I like how it started off slow with, like, moral choices, like breaking sobriety or being a vegetarian, or, you know, hurt yourself or hurt the person next to you, hurt this other guy or hurt the person next to you, and then, you know, having to hurt yourself in some way. I liked the gradual build-up. Yeah, downbeat endings can suck, but, you know, at least she got the money. But yeah, this is a very an independent film by IFC. I usually do like a lot of films by IFC. But the performances were fun from people I like, especially, again, Herbert West and Penguin. It's been derivative of other torture films, but it did it in its own way. You know, took the classic party parlor game, Would You Rather, put its own sadistic twist on it. I liked that. I like how the torture methods weren't over the top. I like how they once in a while, again, as big of a gore hound as I am, it is nice once in a while for a movie to let the gore take the back seat and have it be focused more on the, like, emotional side of being forced to do this torture. But yeah, I enjoyed this film back in 2013 when I saw it. It's a 2012 film, but I remember that's when I saw it. And I still enjoyed it this time. So yeah, Would You Rather. And I'm pretty sure that other movie I'm thinking of is Vile. But yeah, feel free to let me know on that. But anyway, thank you for watching.